Okay, I think we are live. Sup,
Hooray!
peoples? Matt, ESC United, your favorite Eurovision channel, Selecția Națională, which is the Romanian national final, is over after 2 semifinals, and of course the final that just has ended. We have a winner, and I brought along my dear friends right underneath me on the screen, not literally, is Calvin, and then to my right is Robert, and we are ready to take this show apart. And without going into it, I think we all have opinions, don't we?
We do indeed.
We do indeed, and I think our followers will do as well. So I'll say, let's talk about it, let's talk this through. So in case those who haven't paid attention to the whole Selecția Națională process, there were 2 semifinals. From each semifinal, 6 songs qualified, which was a 50 jury 50, I think. No, wait, actually the juries decided on 5 qualifiers, and then the televoters decided on the 6th one. And then in the finals, interesting enough, it was mostly the juries that had to say, and the televoters were one set of votes, jury votes. So not 50%, but less than 20%. Like 10-15% or something like that of the total vote went to the televoters. So it was a night for the juries, I think it's fair to say. And they have decided, and can I say it is a surprising winner in Romania once again. Right? Isn't it ever not surprising in Romania, the outcome? I knew that there would be something strange going on in Romania. Strange is subjective, of course, but certainly unexpected. Maybe it's the best word to say it. But that being said, let me just explain. The winner is Ester Peony with On a Sunday. It was supposed to be a battle of the titans between Laura Breton and Dear Father, as well as Bella Santiago and Army of Lovers, right?
Well,
I don't know the song.
Army of Lovers.
It's an army of something, because I was thinking, wait, no, that's the band from the 90s in Sweden. But, that is what happened. Neither of them won, because the juries decided that's not the way to go, accordingly. So, your first impression of the tonight's results, Robert? Without going into too much detail, what did you a jaw drop, or were you like, yeah,
My jaw drops, Matt. I saw just as we were getting the televote results, I was like, wait, hang on, is there no other jury results? There's a 15-point lead for one song, and it's not one of the songs everyone said was going to win. And to be honest, yeah, I was absolutely gobsmacked at this one, and it was a big shock to see that Esther had such a lead at the end that the televote was literally irrelevant.
It was actually literally irrelevant. Like, that could have given her 0 points, because in the end, they only gave her 3 points, right? And I think even if she would have received 0 points, she still would have won. So, I believe, right?
Didn't Laura have like 48?
No, Laura has in totally 60 points. Asa has 65. So even if you would have subtracted the 3 points that she got from the televote, she still would have won. So,
sorry.
The viewers definitely just wasted money on voting, because it did not matter. It was ultimately the jury vote that was 100% deciding here. Calvin, what did you think?
I am not a fan of national finals where the jury gets that much more say over the televote, especially given that especially when the televote is completely rendered irrelevant and there's an asymmetric information problem, because we did get to see some of the early televote results, and so did, I presume, the jury. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to pretend like I'm not happy with how it turned out.
Yeah. So for selfish reasons, right? And we all know that. Don't we all do that? Sometimes, but you can. That's the difference between you can look at it subjectively from your taste, and then objectively from a level of fairness, I guess. And that's what we're going to take apart here right now.
But the system, I thought it was a little bit of an odd system, and it was an incredibly, incredibly surprising result. Someone on our forum mentioned that you kind of never really know with national final juries, so things like predictions and favorites are kind of pointless when juries are given this much power in national finals, because they are, in a lot of ways, even more unpredictable than the televote, and I think we saw that tonight.
Yes, and the thing I want to point out also, the jury were 6 people, right? So you can make a case, like in the German national final, you have about 60% of the say comes from the juries, like 2/3 of. But one of the juries has like 100 people on it, and the other one has like another 20 like music experts. So it's a larger pool
That is
of
very
people.
true.
Here we had
That
6
is very
individuals basically deciding who goes to Eurovision. And that's often less than what internal selection have. Like internal selection, when they have like the broadcaster, they have more people that actually decide on a song. So after watching the show, Robert, right? Before you knew how, who did you think was going to win based on your observation, your thinking?
I think, based on the performances alone, I think that Bella was going to be the winner. I know that between Bella and Laura, the two were very close. A lot of the fans seemed to be one or the other. I will admit, I was kind of neither. But yeah, I thought that Bella's performance was more complete. It seemed to flow and work. Whereas Laura, the first half of the song was just a bit too weak for me. And whilst the second half was absolutely amazing, the first half really suffered. And I think that that's why, that probably hurt her chances. I mean, you look at the televote title, clearly the people of Romania did not mind so much. But for me, I thought that it was going to be Bella's night until the results started.
Bella's night. Okay. How about you, Calvin? What was you after the 12s performed? What was your gut at that moment?
At that moment, after the 12 performed, I thought Bella was going to have it just because her performance, like Robert said, was more polished, but I didn't really think there was a whole lot between Laura and Bella. Actually, the song that I thought might spoil their party if something was going to be the last one, Underground, but I didn't really think there was much in it between the top two, even though I agree with Robert that I didn't really care for the first half of Laura's performance. People seemed to think she did a good job, and I heard a lot of people who were on Facebook were really happy with the song and how it turned out. So I think it was going to be Bella, but I didn't. It really was just those two and the Pips.
Yes.
In a lot of ways for me.
Okay. So yes. So obviously, as you guys pointed out, it was. Initially, they thought it would be a battle between Laura and Bella, right? The two fan favorites that would battle it out, and then ultimately one would be the winner. Now, you boys point out that I personally enjoyed Laura's performance. I thought it was really well. I was concerned how they're going to bring that gospel-y strong part at the very end out. I thought they did a really good job with those 5 singers. That really worked. I thought it was beautiful. Again, it's a polarizing song, I think, and that is exactly what I always talk about at Eurovision, though. I sound like a broken record. You don't want to have safe in the middle. Even though, let's say, I feel as both of you are not like crazy about it, I think we can understand why people would feel crazy about it, and you want to have a lot of people vote for it. And not just like, yeah, I like it, but I'm not going to bother voting for it. I think that's what the song had. And I thought that, I thought that she was going to win the televote. I felt just very strongly about that, and I thought Bella would be the second in the televote, which didn't even happen, which was surprising to me. But I didn't realize how powerful the juries were going to be. Now, what about Bella Santiago's performance, Calvin? Did you think that, yes, this is the one now?
That performance was very, very strong. Like she did a much, much better job with the live vocals than that song or that type of song can often be performed with. I thought the choreography was really polished. I thought the staging was really polished. It was just a very sleek and strong and well done performance. I had my problems with the song, but the performance I have no complaints about. I thought she did a great job.
What about you, Robert?
Yeah, I have to agree with Calvin. This is depressing. It was a really good performance. I thought it looked like something, honestly, you could see at Eurovision already. Again, as Calvin says, there were things about the song, personally, I didn't like, but I thought that she sold what she had well, and I thought that they did a good job. They thought about the choreography, and it was clearly a performance that had been well crafted. And so, yeah, as I said earlier, I thought that she was going to win. I thought she had the complete package, and I was getting ready to kind of come on and say, well, I'm not that much of a fan of it, but I can understand why it won.
That's exactly what, And it's once again a perfect example of what you say. You understand why. I thought, I was
Yeah.
lucky that the fan favorites happened to align with my personal taste tonight, which doesn't happen a whole lot,
Yes.
but tonight it did. So I loved it, and it feels like people compared a lot to Fuego, but it's a different song. It doesn't have the same sound, but
Yeah.
it's like the same genre, if you will. And Fuego didn't invent that style. You're not like saying like it was the first time we've ever heard.
Yeah, that annoyed that. Yeah, sometimes when people do that, it during the UK national final, I remember I think it was Sweet Lies that was getting compared to
Yes.
Fuego. And Eleni Ferreira did not invent dance music.
Exactly. So like we've never heard that before. Until then, we only had jazz music.
Yeah.
So that is what I agree with you on that. So, but I thought also it looked so good, and Bella couldn't hit a bad note if she tried. Right? She is so good.
She sang really well.
Yeah, she sang really well. And but as I said, 6 jurors, and I see a lot of people in the chat want to talk about this. Let's talk about the juries in a sense. As Calvin and Robert's audio is echoing, so let me take a look at that real quick.
Test.
While I'm fixing that, you guys let me know. I forgot the point I was trying to make. Oh, so there are 6 jury members that were in the jury, basically. One of them was Emily DeForest, the winner of the 2013 contest. We had the 2 Wee Wee Blocks personalities, William and Devin, and then we had a few others. Some of them were local, not local, but they were like also international juries, allegedly. So there were a few people, some Romanian as well. So this is where the power lied, right? This is where everyone was at. So let's kind of look at the votes. Surprisingly, there was some disagreements between them, but for the most part, they agreed, and that's why Esther won ultimately. Your thoughts, Robert?
Yes, so as I say, I mean, overall, I think that having a national selection, and I think we all agree, 6 out of 7 going to the jury, 1 out of 7 going to a televote, when Eurovision is a 50-50 split, is a poor idea. It's flawed from the beginning. At the end of the day, and especially given the fact that here, the juries, there were 6 people, as Matt, you made the point earlier, it's 6 people's opinions, and you're saying that that's much more important than the opinion of the Romanian people. And you've got to remember in Eurovision, when we talk about the juries of an individual country, we are talking about multiple people, and that's one country, one set of votes out of all of the juries, and even that only makes up 50% of the points total. Whereas here, you're giving 6 people complete power, basically, and as we saw, putting us in a result situation where it would literally have required 12 points. The only song that could have displaced Esther would have been if the televote had given 12 points to Bella and 0 to Esther, and then whatever the tiebreaker method would have been would have decided which song would have gone through. But literally, making it almost impossible for the televote to mean anything. And I think that is a poor decision on the part of TVR to do that, because it just makes people cross. We've seen over the years so many times where juries being allowed to say more than the televote is just generates controversy, and it makes people feel a bit kind of left out of the process.
Yes.
It's just it's painful almost. You think that thousands and thousands of people voted tonight, and their opinions were rendered utterly worthless by 6. Now, I appreciate we have 6 people who are in the industry, they have the knowledge, they have the understanding, but at the end of the day, this is for Eurovision, a contest where that knowledge and understanding counts for half the votes.
Okay, can we get a standing ovation for Robert right now here? Mentally, I'm not standing up because I'm wearing pajama pants, but other than that, Calvin, go ahead. Add your thoughts.
No, I don't really have much to add. One of the things that I thought was kind of interesting about the selection for the jury that I'd just like to maybe point out is that it was a kind of a young jury, which was very interesting to me because given the Humans winning last year and Laura winning the televote this year, I have to wonder if the Romanian televote is actually a little bit older than the televote in some countries, because usually we think of the jury as kind of the grounding in stodgier tastes, and the televote as where it's kind of a free-for-all. But 2 years in a row, the televote have gone for kind of slower, friendlier, more accessible to older ears songs. And I just think it's kind of interesting that that's the direction that the Romanian televote specifically goes. So I understand why, if TVR has kind of a unique group of televoters, maybe they would want to try to counterbalance that a little bit more with the jury, but this is too much. It didn't give people in the televote enough control over the process. There has to be a happy medium between controlling for the special circumstances that your televote has and giving the jury all the power.
Yes, because technically, I mean, there are two, you can look at multiple, like for instance, some people may say, blame Emily de Forest. She gave Bella Santiago 0 points. Nada.
Yes.
And that alone probably drowned her, because if she would have gotten another 10 or 12 points, she could have won this whole thing.
Yes.
And that you can say, one juror drowned Bella Santiago, and it's very difficult for me to, even if you don't like the song, you guys, you were not crazy about the song, you can be honest. But just looking at vocal performance, visual appealing, like mass appeal, you're supposed to take certain things into consideration. I have a very hard time believing that this is one of the 2 worst songs of the night. Do you know what I mean? Especially coming from a jury. It seems very, very questionable. I'm going to be honest here. Would you agree, Calvin?
I would definitely agree. It was just a very surprising group of jurors, and I kind of thought, especially with this jury, as I said, that would kind of connect with them, and that it didn't, especially with Emily de Forest specifically. That was the biggest curveball of the night, I thought, even bigger than what ultimately won.
Yes. What are you about you, Robert? Do you agree? Disagree?
I mean, I think to be honest, I do have a slight issue. I know a lot of people are saying quite extreme things about our friends in Wee Wee Blogs. I think Wee Wee Blogs did be destroyed and things like that, maybe a little bit far. But I have to say that I do find it amusing that you get 2 people who have very similar backgrounds come and sit on a jury. I mean, you're almost saying...
Yes.
Out of 6. Yeah, and I mean, you're effectively saying that Wee Wee Blogs deserves twice the say of the people of Romania to pick an entry for Romania. And that, to me, I mean, just the aesthetics of that, even if we've got one of the expected winners tonight, I think the aesthetics of that just don't look great. If you want an international jury, that's fantastic. Get a range of people from various countries and let them be an international jury. Do not get 2 people from the same website, unless it's ESC United.
Yeah, of course.
Eurovision website.
But
we're all free next year, TBR.
Yes.
But you know what I mean. In all seriousness, I would struggle to support the idea of 2 of us going on a jury next year to select Eurovision entry and us having more say than the entire country for which we are choosing.
Yes.
It's not a great aesthetic, and I think that they should really look at that as the judging method. And when I say they, I do mean TVR, because at the end of the day, if that's what William and Devon thought, that's their opinion. It's it's exactly the same way we have our own opinions, and if TVR allow them to express them in such a way that it means that they have such power, that's TVR to blame. I'm sorry, guys. It's really them who need to look at how things are sorted out and to work out what they really want.
Yes. And this is the problem, actually, and you nailed it. In that sense, it's all about aesthetics, perception, right? Because I don't necessarily blame... I don't blame Weeblogs, because they were given that chance and opportunity by the people in charge, the Romanian broadcaster, the producers. So I don't know if they were giving not directions, or they just really just voted the way they felt was right, and that then is the way they vote. They shouldn't have, the Romanian folks shouldn't have given the small group of people the same kind of vote, especially, as you said, they're coming with the same similar taste, and their votes, the top 4, are almost identical, right? They have the same winner, they had the same top 2, and basically the same top 4, and that alone was enough to decide the winner.
Yeah.
And that, I feel bad for Weeby Blocks. It's really not for me to go after them, because now people are hating on them for doing something they were asked to do. It's not like they forced themselves into the situation. I'll let you talk in just a second. I just want to say thank you, Nikolai Muller, for the super chat in there. Emily just killed Bella's chances. I bet Bella is very angry at her right now. I mean, that's a very fair point. I just mentioned it. I still don't understand how you can give 0 points to Bella, even if you don't like the song, if you look at it from a jury perspective. It was really just a personal vote, it seemed, by Emily de Forest. Now I don't feel bad that I never liked her song. I got throw a little shade in there. Now seriously, it was very surprising. So I feel bad for Bella. It's like, what? But granted, Bella only got third place with
Third,
the jury.
yeah.
With the televoters.
Yeah.
But then again, Esther got third place. Third 3 points, which is then
Place.
8th place. My math is not really good right now. So, so thank you, Calvin. So yes, I want to be very careful with the way I phrase it, because, you know, Weblocks are the best, right, at what they're doing.
They're great.
And I feel bad. Fans, I understand that you're upset right now. And I feel the same way. I was Team Bella and Team Laura all the way. And you feel as the Weblocks took away our chance and put someone in there that, in my view, probably not going to fare as well at Eurovision. That being said, don't get mad at them. Get mad at the people in charge. That is my advice here. Go ahead, Calvin.
No, I totally agree. I think it is. I can't imagine that there was any kind of like malfeasance on the part of William and Devin at all. If you get asked to serve on a Eurovision jury, you say yes.
And they were the only ones voting for Esther, right? She got a lot of other points from other jurors as well.
No, exactly. And it was a very jury-friendly performance, and yeah, I can't blame them at all. Yeah, for exactly the reasons that you two have described.
Yeah. Any other thoughts for Robert that we left out?
Yeah, no, I think that's a very fair point to say. Is you've got to look at all the other juries. I mean, every juror gave 10 points to Army of Love, and you know, and as you said, Emmeline was the one that blanked the televote favourite. So maybe look there as well. But yeah, if you, at the end of the day, if you as a broadcaster decide to call in 2 people from the same website and you are not expecting them to vote similarly, then I think that's a failing on your part, and that is, at the end of the day, what they did wrong. What are we meant to do? What are William and Devin meant to do? Not agree because they're good friends and they've got similar tastes? I mean, are they meant to disagree just with the public? It doesn't make sense, guys. And I think that, you know, I mean, I've seen in the chat there are a few people who are theorising that they've been asked to do this, or that it's, you know, that they didn't actually like it. I mean, seriously, where's the evidence for this? It's not. There's no backing for it. I understand a lot of people are disappointed that their favourites haven't won tonight, but at the end of the day, 2 big Eurovision fans went along and were allowed to have their say in selecting a Eurovision entry. Out of the people here tonight, who would not take that opportunity if they could?
Yes. That is absolutely right. And that's exactly the same thing. Let's just say tomorrow we're going to start over Romania, and Calvin, Robert, and Matt, you all get to vote, and then 1 vote is the televote. Could you imagine the pressure on us? Okay, should we go with what we believe is the best, or what we perceive as the best option for Romania? Or do we go with what the televoters pressure us to do, for the lack of a better word?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a tough position to be in. So
it is.
I really hope people can be just sleep over it and don't hate on Weblocks too much. And they had no malicious intent here. But let's talk a little bit also about the winner, because I feel like we were just like bitching, whining, wah. Let's talk a little bit about the winner, Esther, and her song that's on a Sunday. It happened on a Sunday. Funny joke. So Calvin,
which was only made about 4 times during the jury results.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. That's why I had to bring it up.
But they each came up with their own on a Sunday joke, and that I appreciate.
I know, right? Just another manic Sunday.
Oh God.
Different song. Sorry. It's pretty maniac. So, but anyway, Calvin, you actually, besides all the drama, all the upset feelings, just looking at Calvin, the selfish little person, which we all do right now. We go into
selfish little person.
We're all going our selfish mode right now. Are you ready? Okay, yes. Calvin, what is your opinion about the song?
I freaking love it. I think I've been trying to hide that as best I can over the course of this chat, but I think I thought it was, and not by much of a margin, but not by much of a small margin, better than both of the 2 songs that were the favorites. I thought it was probably the very best of the night. I thought it was incredibly captivating and chilling and cool. For the first 30 seconds, I was thinking to myself, I think I might like this better if the arrangement were a bit poppier. And then the arrangement got poppier. I thought it was just I think it's just a fantastic song. I think she sang the heck out of it. I thought it was staged really nicely. I have very, very little to say negative about the song itself, even if I'm not thrilled about the way it won.
Okay. How about you, Robert?
Yeah, this is one of my least favorite songs of the night. So hey, Calvin and I finally disagreeing on something. Um, it's yes, Nat, get your popcorn out. Yes. So yeah, that song. I mean, yeah, okay. It's well staged. I have to say, I was really intrigued because I didn't catch the semi-final performance of this, and I was really interested to see how much had changed from it when I caught it afterwards. Because Calvin was raving around it so much, I thought I'd actually better give this a second go, because otherwise I'll never hear the end of it. And I didn't like it still, but it's really interesting to see such different staging for it and the adaptability, therefore, of it. So I'll be interested to see what they end up with at Eurovision and which direction they decide to go in. As for actually how it feels, it's not really my kind of thing. I don't like the kind of AA bit towards the end because that just goes on and on and on, and it's the same bit, and it's just like, come on, bit more variety, bit more action here for me, please, guys. I think the staging is good. I will admit that. I think that they've got good ideas, and I quite like the red dress lounging around in a chair. It's an interesting interpretation of on a Sunday. The semi-final performance seems to be a little bit more. I've just popped down to the local funeral parlour and I'm wearing black to show it, whereas this actually was more the lazy Sunday afternoon at home. But yeah, it's not my kind of music, and it's all right at best for me. But
Yes. Yeah. No, it's
yeah.
very, very good points that you're making. I'm more with Robert on this one. Um, would I call my least favorite? Yeah, it was one of the songs that I completely forgot about. It just went past me completely, and I'm just getting the human vibe. Regardless of how it feel as it just doesn't leave enough of an impact with the masses. There is a reason why it only finished in 8th place with the televoters. That's really low. I mean, an 8th place winning with the televoters. Yeah. I can see why there are a lot of people upset and like, we're not being heard.
Absolutely.
Here. We're being ignored. And again, I'm in selfish mode right now. I have a zero connection to the song, and I'm disappointed because I had strong connections with the other songs. So if this would have been like a blah national final where I didn't like any songs, I would have probably been less emotionally. But right now, I'm kind of like, this sucks. This really sucks. I really wanted Laura or Bella to win. And there were other songs that I actually enjoyed. I liked Renegades, and I had a soft spot for Elvira, even though I know I would have not been the right place song for Eurovision. I'm totally aware of that, but I had a soft spot for her. So there were a lot of songs I actually enjoyed. So I really have a 2018 deja vu moment again, where you just sit like, oh? And that is exactly what happened to me. From a selfish perspective, and I'm just really trying to put myself into the shoes of the juries. And I find it very interesting that they're all so almost in sync when it comes to the taste. So I'm wondering, because they're all sitting right next to each other, right? And that, ooh, that was good. Yeah, that, you know.
It is more. Oh, sorry, after you.
No, go ahead. And that is what I feel as that they had kind of like picking up a vibe from each other. We all love this song, right? Yeah, we do. It didn't say let's all give them 12 points, but when you have this kind of like, you know.
It is worth noting that if that happened at Eurovision, the votes from the jury that did it would have been DQ'd.
Yes. That's the thing. Even if they don't communicate saying, okay, how many points do you give? There is an overall vibe when people are like, did you like that? I love that one too. That's why when you see, for instance, let's talk about France Destination Eurovision. Not sure if you guys watched the finals, but the international jury members, they weren't in the same place, right? They're called in from wherever they were. They didn't have the ability to pick up each other's thoughts and vibes, and that's why the votes were a little more over the place there. There is a little less influence, and I think this is what happened here, because I just find it hard to believe that everyone is on the same page almost. Yes, there were some variations. Some people gave high points to Bella, some didn't. Some gave high points to Laura, some they didn't. And all that stuff, I get that. But overall, it seems a little odd to me. Go ahead, Calvin.
Yeah, I think that's a perfectly reasonable hypothesis, and I think that's a far more reasonable hypothesis than there was any malfeasance going on. But I think it's entirely possible there was some kind of groupthink happening where people were not actively or intentionally trying to influence each other, but where they were just around and reacting to the songs as humans and seeing people react. And I think that's understandable. I totally agree.
Yeah. Anything else, Robert, to add on this one?
Well, I think it's a good point. It's also there's also a bit of that groupthink philosophy. Then everyone going, say if everyone else is saying that this song's really great and you should listen to this. Well, I think I really enjoyed that one. Oh yeah, and you're sort of sitting there thinking, what are you guys on about? That was rubbish. Most of us don't like saying that. We don't like going, oh no, you guys were all wrong. I have my own opinions. We kind of go along a bit with the group, and especially when you're just about to have a camera pointed in your face and you've got to announce your points, it's suddenly a bit like, oh, we don't want to stand out too much here, really.
That would be good on a jury.
The juror who, in every national final, there's always one juror who just has ones that seem completely random compared to the others, and no one is ever happy with them.
I know, right? I think that would be me, probably. I'm not really good at just following the flow. I'm just like, nope. Not that I am that's a lot, but it's just, I don't necessarily listen to what others are saying just so that I'm going to be influenced by it. I wanted to make a post. Somebody was pointing out in the chat when I said, there needs to be some team thinking there. And they're saying, well, Matt, it happens at Eurovision all the time. Why are you surprised? That may very well be that all the Belgian people are in one room, the juries, and they all vote like, okay, yeah, get a little bit same vibe, but that is one set of jury votes. It's only Belgium, and then Russia does the same. Then there's only Russia, and then Greece, but there are going to be 42 different sets of jury votes.
Not
six. Not six.
That's 42 jury votes, who are 50% of the total.
Yes, on top of it.
That's the other thing. Here, each person is 1/7 of the total. There's 14% of the votes come from each jury member here, okay? If in Eurovision you've got 42 countries and they're half the votes, that's barely 1% of the total. It is nothing in comparison to here.
Yes.
So the groupthink effect is so much bigger. Unless you want to suggest that all 42 international juries sit in the same house and select. But even then, you know what, guys? Right now tonight we had 86% jury votes in one room. Most you can get of jury vote in one room with Eurovision is 50.
Yes.
So it's still not comparable. And Calvin now wants to put all the jury members for all the countries in one big room.
I don't watch Big Brother, but I'd start if they had a Eurovision jury spin-off.
Wow, well there you go. That's a new idea, EPU. Eurovision Big Brother.
Yes. So let's talk about the song, the winning song on a Sunday. As far as how would it fare at Eurovision? We know it wasn't the fan favorite, but it was the jury favorite. Again, 6 people, it's always so hard to really call. I mean, it is a jury favorite, period.
Yeah.
Do you think, objectively, okay, get out of subjective mode and selfish mode. We're professionals again. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the chances for on a Sunday at Eurovision, objectively, based on your vibe right now. Robert, why don't you go first?
It's not going to qualify.
It's not going to qualify.
I'm sorry, it's not. It's not. It doesn't stand out enough as a song for people to get behind it. We've seen tonight. Again, fair enough. I have made the point in other live streams that when you talk of a televote, this is only one country, and again, there are going to be 20-odd countries voting in this semi-final. So, in the same way, it's only 6 people in the jury. It is only one country on the televote. Mm-hmm. So, for all we know, it may not be the choice of the Romanian public, but actually, we could have a major European hit on our hands.
You just don't get the vibe from it, though, that it could be just based on your. You don't see this as an international hit, though.
I really, really don't. I just mean that theoretically we could do. Just because one country doesn't like it, then it doesn't mean that every country is going to dislike it. I just don't see this. I really don't see this qualifying. I think that what we've seen tonight is not going to do well with the televoters. It is going to be forgotten about, and I would be gobsmacked if it is made.
Yeah. What about you, Calvin?
I think it needs a couple of things. I think it needs to get a bit lucky in the running order, and I think it needs a really, really good, stage-filling staging. I think it needs something that's a bit dark and a little bit dramatic staging-wise. And with that, if we come to rehearsal week and it looks good on camera, I think it might have a shot. But I think if you just take that Selecția Națională performance, sorry for butchering the Romanian there, and you just and you just
How dare you, says Matt, who's an expert on European languages.
Yeah, and you just transfer that onto the Eurovision stage, then I think it's destined for a flop.
Yeah. By the way, guys, in the chat, if you have any questions, now's the time to put at ESC United and or your comments about this. I know we've been kind of talking amongst ourselves because there was so much to unpack here right now, so I wasn't ignoring you. But if you have any questions, at ESC United is always appreciated. That way they stand out. Calvin, Robert, if you feel, take a look as well in case a good question comes up. Just my opinion on this one. I'm kind of... I think I kind of agree with you. I could see a similar outcome, what we saw tonight at Eurovision. I could see this being a little bit more more of a jury magnet potentially at Eurovision as well. Not to the same extent. I could see this one be like a 5th or 6th, 7th place potentially in the jury vote. Again, I don't know all the competition, so it's a little, early to judge. But I see some jury potentially here with the song, because these are the kind of songs that often work with juries that I find incredibly dull, right? I'm like, I don't know how this one, I remember Armenia 2013, Lonely Planet. No one thought that was going to qualify. And then the juries were like, that's good. It's so vanilla. We love vanilla. And I always hate to use the vanilla metaphor because I love vanilla. It's a disservice to people who love vanilla flavor. But you know what I mean. I'm just using the expression right now. And it's a similar thing with Taboo Malta last year. No one really connected with it, but the juries were like, yeah, that's good. So I could see a similar concept happening. And it happened with the Humans as well last year, right?
Yeah.
The juries put it in the top 10.
They did. Yeah, I think so.
And I could see a similar situation here as well, but just for the... televoters to drag it down, because I just don't see this one have an immediate hook impact on the televoters. Let's see who is competing against them so far in this semi and see who they could or could not beat. First of all, they have Carousel that night from Latvia. That's not necessarily the most in-your-face song.
I think that's going to be a big jury favorite and a middling televote score.
I think Latvia would pull more jury votes than Romania.
Yeah, I agree.
Albania, I have no idea where they're gonna go. And then that's it, right? We don't have. We have Rocco the Dream. That I don't know what that's going to happen with that one. So we don't have that much to look at actually in this semi right now.
In that song, I know it's off topic, but I just have to note this. He says "dream" in that song so many times that it stops feeling like a real word.
I know. I hate when people use the same... Two things I hate. When you use the same word too many times and when you run the same thing like 5 times in a row. Like, I'm like, hi, goodbye, tell me why, oh, night. And I'm like, don't do that. Those are the 2 unforgivable Eurovision sins. Okay, so here are a few questions. Echelon, if that's how you pronounce it. This is ridiculous. We're going to be honest here, right? We're going to read your comments and we're going to respond honestly, because I know there are a lot of hurt feelings. This is ridiculous. The 2 favorites were sabotaged by Wee Blocks and Romania's own voting system. If you consider Ester got 8th in the televote and won by 5 points, Mihai was right. Okay, Mihai, in case you guys don't know, was actually part of the lineup of the Romanian national final and then ultimately withdrew. Another act withdrew as well. So we addressed already the Wee Blocks controversy. Again, yes, blame the producers, we're saying. Were they giving too much power? Subjective, but you could make a case here because they drowned Laura. Laura, who won, by the way, Laura won the televote by a landslide. Somebody said like thousands of votes, which is a lot in Romania. And I don't have the exact count right now, but somebody says like 4,000 votes or something like that. That's a lot. So she was a winner based on the televote. And I'm not quite sure why everyone put her so low in the jury vote. You can make a case there, but I just don't know how you can just put the blame on Wee Blocks. Yes, their taste and mine do not align whatsoever on this one, right?
Yeah.
But I said blame the people in charge for giving them too much power, and that's exactly what it is. If they would have given me like the ability to do something, I would judge, even though I would try to be as objective as humanly possible and do the best for Romania. I'm a human being, right?
Yeah.
And people could be mad at me as well, although I would have put Bella and Laura in my top 2. But too late for that, right? Cry over spilled milk. So any thoughts from you?
Yeah, I would just want to say that, I mean, Wee Wee Blogs did give 20 points combined to Army of Love. So
Yes.
I'm not quite sure how that's exactly sabotaging them per se.
Laura, you
And
can make a
Emily-
case for Laura, but then not for Bella.
Yeah.
But then you go to the other one that's getting a lot of Emmeline getting a lot of bad reactions. She gave 12 to Laura, so
Yes.
it's like, well,
And 0 to Bella.
Yeah.
hit 0 to Bella. So she, I mean, basically what happened was they had their favourites out of the two big favourites, and so did everyone else. I mean, quite a lot of people who seem to be fans of Bella did not like Laura's song, and vice versa. So hey guys, you know what? Guess what? That's kind of what happened here. Is you had some jury members that loved one of the two favourites and did not like the other, and that's reflected in points.
Yeah.
Is that sabotaging? I think that's kind of voting for your favourite. So yeah, as I say, it comes down. It's the old argument again. Look at the TVR. Do not look at the individual jurors.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think I would like to note, just having been reading our forum over the course of the national final.
Shameless plug-in, esunited.com forum.
/forum. Yes. Come on our forum, please. It's awesome. Anyway, some people loving Bella and really not caring for Laura, and some people loving Laura and really not caring for Bella, and a small group of people not really caring for either is perfectly representative of where fan sentiments were overall. And I agree, and it has gone unsaid, but I sort of agree with Robert that I can't really blame the jury for reflecting where the fans were, and that's sort of what they did. Plus a little bit of extra hype for on Sunday.
So let's see, another few questions here. It's moving really fast. What do you think about the route being nominated by Finland? Okay, this is a Finnish question, so we're going to focus on Romania right now. We did a video about that yesterday. We reviewed the two songs already, so feel free to check that out. Shannon is saying something that just scrolled past my screen. I think the main thing people here are having an issue with is the fact that Weeblogs apparently said in their reaction video they didn't like on a Sunday. That is true. People were pointing that out. Now, do you think it's perfectly fair to not like a song and then you see the live performance at the national final and completely have a change of heart?
No, not at all. I think the closest. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, remember the change from the semi to the final here, because obviously I'm sure they've seen the semi performances as well. But again, you've seen a massive change in staging here. Maybe tonight everything just clicks.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the closer thing to see is that they were on the jury after having done reaction videos at all. But I think that their points weren't reflective of their reaction videos is all the proof I need that they didn't have much of an impact. I have no worries. I have no qualms about them doing a reaction video and saying they like one song and then voting for another.
Yes. It's tough because I do reaction videos quite a bit. I would be worried if, like, all of a sudden, like, Portugal calls me and like, hey, be in this final, the judge in the finals. I'm like, oh, I didn't like this performance, even though it was my favorite in the video.
Yeah.
I thought they sucked this, which I'm not saying it happened, but I was saying just as an example, it would make me look like a hypocrite, right? I'm like, okay, now I didn't vote as much for it because the live performance is so important. If you cannot sing live, if you fall off stage or whatever, it's bad, and it needs to be taken into consideration. That's why I say in every of my reaction videos, this is just as of moment right now, opinions evolve, especially when you watch the live performance, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I would not put too much stock into their reaction videos, and no, it's different than what they had before. I will urge the broadcaster in Romania to rethink their approach. That is, I guess, my suggestion here. You need to have a 50-50 one. Last year they had 100% televote, and then they did this thing where you saw the votes as they kind of came up, as they were at that particular moment in time, which then gave people the ability to manipulate their votes and vote for someone that still has a chance to pick up with the current favorite, right? That happened last year, and then everyone was just surprised by the winners. And then this year they gave all the power to 6 people, or 80% or 90% of the power, and then the televoters are like, why do we even bother? So it seems as they cannot find the healthy middle ground. I think if they would have had the 50% of these 6 people and then 50% of the televote, you could have then had a more satisfying outcome.
Yes.
And that is what didn't happen. That is my suggestion. What do you guys want to add?
I kind of, in a way, I am having memories of 2018 where no one except for me, because they were my number one of 2018, was really fond of the Romanian winner, and there was a little bit of upset about the upset, and I have to wonder if TVR just took kind of the wrong message from that and just went a little bit too far in the other direction. I'm having some trouble not blaming them for giving the jury so much power, but I don't blame them, as I said earlier, for giving them some greater power at all, or even for a little bit of overcorrecting, just not 86-14 overcorrecting.
Yes, it was because last year it was 100% jury vote in the semis and then 100% televote in the finals. And then this year it was almost completely jury. Like the jury decided 5 qualifiers in each semifinal, and then the televoters, those out of the 7 remaining, they picked 1 more. And then you had the 6. So it was, again, almost all jury vote. And the similar thing in the finals. And if you want to give so much power to the juries, then have a broader jury. That's what I'm thinking. So
I agree.
Robert, anything else from you?
I just don't understand why more countries don't go for a 50-50 split. I really do not. You've got to appeal to juries and televoters. Get the system the same as Eurovision, because that's, at the end of the day, how the song is going to be judged. For real, for the actual event, go with that way of voting. Do not reveal the televote scores halfway through as they're going, because as you guys said, last year especially, and this year in a way, it was kind of an irrelevance, I suppose, but you see what songs are going, and if your favourite is got 10 votes and the lead's currently got 500, which one are you going to vote for with your 1 vote?
Yes.
You're going to vote for your favourite that's got a chance. And then that just ruins the system, because then you end up with anti-voting, you end up with people just going for the song that, voting for the song that will beat the song they really don't like, and that's the difficulty with 100% televoting. Okay, fine, you've neutered that completely by making the televoting irrelevant, but then you're giving too much power to the juries. Guys, there is a show for how to do this. It's called Eurovision. You've been part of it most years for a while now. Just do that.
Yeah. I agreed with Robert and you with one caveat, and that's that we also had the televote get revealed tonight, and how the televotes looked when they were revealed.
Oh, I missed that, actually. Okay.
Oh, yes, they did get revealed tonight early on, and how the televote looked when they first started and how the televote looked at the end were almost exactly the same. And so I'm a little skeptical that it does a whole heck of a lot for the to change how
it happened last year, and here's why. Last year, Walk on Water was leading, a song sung by 2 young kids who got a lot of support from the young high school votes. They went to all these schools to get a vote, and then no one wanted them to win like everyone else, right? So everyone on the forums, in the Romanian forums and websites, let's call for the Humans, because they were in second place and the only chance for them to not have Walk on Water win. I remember that. And then everyone just voted for the Humans just so Walk on Water wouldn't win. This year it's a little different, I think, because Laura was such a landslide winner. I think it mattered, like, she's going to win the televote anyway. Doesn't matter. So, but it makes sense what you're saying. And there's one thing I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, Matt.
Yeah, there's one thing Echelon is... No, you go ahead and then I'll read the question.
Yeah.
Sorry, one of us will talk eventually. No, I was just wanting to say one slight caveat to Calvin, that maybe the jury vote, the televote didn't change based on when we got shown what they were like and the end, but the jury hadn't necessarily voted by that point.
Yes, I agree. Asymmetric information in national finals sucks.
Yes.
Sorry.
And so that's why I think
I hate it all the time.
It influenced the televoting, but realistically, unless the jury, and to be fair, they could have done. For all we know, they could have voted as soon as the song's finished, handed them in, and didn't have a clue what the televote's like. But if theoretically the jury know, oh, hello, Laura's doing quite well here, I don't want that to win.
Yeah. And perception, it may not be the case. You're absolutely right. It may not be the case, and it probably wasn't, but appearance, perception is everything, right? So that is what...
Yep.
Yes.
Robert's right.
And
absolutely.
Echelon is saying, and just make some points, on the WeeBlocks channel, some people are pointing out that WeeBlocks apparently has a problem with Laura's statements towards LGBT gay community and thus gave her a few points. In case those who didn't know what they're talking about, Laura, a year or 2 ago, I don't know, she was even younger than she is right now, and she is still flipping young, made a video when Romania voted on, was it same-sex marriage or something like that, or certain same-sex marriage in Romania, promoting traditional marriage, marriages between a man and a woman, and Romania needs to do what's right, Christian values, blah, 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 right? And
Yeah.
that video, of course, became a big controversial thing because Eurovision, very popular in the LGBT community, and people didn't feel right about this. So Weeby Blogs apparently are saying they didn't like that either. Do you think that could have really been a factor here, or do you think they are above that?
Can I go first, please? Because I
No,
have
Robert,
thoughts on
please,
this.
you go first. No, go ahead.
Okay, let me.
No, go ahead, Calvin.
Because I have thoughts on this.
Go ahead.
Laura Breton would not be the first performer with a homophobia problem or a bigotry problem of any kind to get support from the Eurovision fan community or from Wee Blogs. The idea that was going to stop Wee Blogs from enjoying their song just for Laura Breton, and that this was going to be the first time that we all actually said no to a performer because they had some kind of bigotry problem is ridiculous. I think that had zero impact on Laura's standing with Wee Blogs. RMP3, Anastasia Prihodko, there are plenty of performers who have had some problematic statements in their past that the Eurovision fan community has not turned on at all, and it is ridiculous to suggest that Laura Breton would have been the first person they turned on.
Especially I'm defending that kind of language, right? I think it's support and it should not be supported, that kind of message. That being said, she was 13 years old? You know nothing when you're 13. You say what your parents tell you or the people in your surroundings. I had shitty beliefs when I was 13 years, probably, right? That I look back, I'm like, oh my God, why was I thinking that? So I'm not saying there's not some level of responsibility, but we need to take a little bit a step back and be all like, like she. Yeah. And when you grow up in that kind of environment, that's all you know and all you hear. Yeah. And Calvin, you live in the United States, and
yes.
We wish it would be different, and there is a lot of improvement, especially over the last 5 years.
Oh, it's gone super fast. Yeah. But I think,
you live in Phoenix, for crying out loud,
right? Yes. The extent to which people care about those kinds of comments from performers is also way, way overstated. Yeah, I see no logic in the point that Wee Blogs tank Laura because of those statements.
Yeah, Robert, anything else?
Don't see what else I could possibly add to that. It's at the end of the day, there have been all sorts of performers who've made statements around these things, and obviously, I mean, you remember, guys, the three of us all here are gay. Like, we have very strong opinions on what we think is right when it comes to gay marriage and all the rest of it, and we are not in the situation. You can't judge people what they said at 13, and I think it's just not logical. As Calvin says, it's just not happening.
Yeah. Thanks again, Eurotowley, for your support. Goes straight into my London Eurovision fund as I've been going there. He says, evening all, I don't know what this hate is. I love the Romanian song. My top so far. France, Montenegro, Croatia. Rando, you ESC legend, save support this way. Huh? But that's why I love Eurotowley, because very different taste, very different approach, and we need that. Sometimes people are too harsh. To me, Montenegro is not by far the worst song that's in the running. Even though I don't agree with the ranking, I love that people have different opinions. There's a love for every song out there, and it's really, and we want to be clear. We are critical about the approach. I'm not critical of the song just because my favorites didn't win. I'm not going to be like, this is BS. Wah, cancel Eurovision.
Poland 2015.
I know, right? Please, if that were the case, I would no longer be a Eurovision fan. I've gotten so numb to this as my favorites don't win. I've come to terms with that. I just try to improve the contest. So it's not when the hate or criticism, it's not towards the song just because I'm not a fan of it. It's really about the process and how can this be improved upon, because Eurovision fan, love you to death, but we're very passionate, right? Sometimes our passion goes a little bit too far. We need to step back and okay, let's not get too emotional, sleep over it at night and see how you feel the next day. You may still be upset, but then, at least you had some time to cool down, I guess. It's nothing against the singer, and I would feel bad for the winner, Esther, if she gets any kind of hate online just because, she wasn't the fan favorite. That's just not how it should be. That's not what Eurovision is about.
Yeah.
Feel free to criticize the song, say you don't like it, and you're upset that it won over the Romanian public's favorite and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, this is somebody who's just got an opportunity that I'm sure most of us would love to have. She is going to Eurovision. She's performing on the Eurovision stage, one of the largest audiences of a televised show in the world, and she's just got the opportunity to do that. Guys, celebrate that for a moment and let her enjoy the moments, and just and this is going from someone who thought it was genuinely one of the worst songs tonight. Please don't take it out on her.
Yeah.
You can hate the song all you like, you can criticize it for many, many reasons, and I will happily help you with that, but do not direct your hate at her because you think that there's been an unfairness in how she was selected.
Yes.
That's
Okay. Then let's use this as our final words, because, this stream's going on for a little while. Let's call this a night, but I want all of us just to have a final thought, and I will go first. Once again, Robert just said it, don't hate on the act. I wish Esther nothing but the best, and I want Romania to succeed. Even if I may not be voting for it, I still want, Romania to try the hardest and be proud of their entry, and just, now it's time to reach out to the broadcaster and say, you messed up with the system. This is what happened. Fix it for 2020. You have the talent. You had good songs in the running, and now you need to make sure that the people are being heard, and that is important. And I'm asking people, again, we said before, don't go after Emily DeForest. I make a kind of joke about how me not liking her song was just a fun little jab, but I don't agree with her voting, and I don't necessarily agree with the way she handled her votes. That being said, that's her right. That's just how the juries work. Don't go after her. Don't go after Weeby Blocks. They are insanely nice people. Devin took me under his wings when I first started out and gave me tickets to the con. He always made sure that people get to know me. He is a sweetheart and a darling, and I would hate for him to get any kind of hatred because you didn't like his votes. His heart is pure, and I would hate to see any kind of negativity towards them. William is one of the hardest working people in the Eurovision world. Granted, he does it for a living now, right? I'm so jealous, but that being said, it's just, don't go after them too hard. They had no ill intentions. Disagree with them all you want all day, but don't make it personal. I hate when people do that so much. I will probably, when I see them in Amsterdam or in London, I'd be like, okay, but in a playful manner. Because you just don't. Everyone is here to because of the love of the contest. So and I know it sounds so corny what I'm saying. I get it, love, peace, yes, but it is true. This is why we love Eurovision. This is what it should be about. And a great thing, it's cliche, but it's a good cliche, and I want that. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. Robert, anything from you?
No, I think you've said it all. At the end of the day, it's a song contest, guys. It's not the end of the world. What the prize is the country gets to spend millions and millions of dollars, pounds, what have you, on a contest and hosting it. We love it, but, we're never all going to be happy. There are a lot of people in the Eurovision world, and nothing is ever going to please everybody. Remember, enjoy the music that you like. Get upset that your favourites don't win, by all means, but remember that somebody out there's happy, some people are enjoying the songs, and it's just try and look on the bright side and the positive side and enjoy it and appreciate the fact that we're all different, we all have different tastes, and that's the main thing, and that's the joy of it. Eurovision has something for everyone.
Yep. Okay. Esther won the selection and has the opportunity to go to Eurovision, what she's supposed to do. William and Devin were asked to be on a Eurovision jury, and they took the opportunity. What were they supposed to do?
Yeah.
I have a very low degree of difficulty in saying that because I love On a Sunday and William and Devin, but even so, what were any of them supposed to do? And I think there is a way to hate On a Sunday, to disagree with William and Devin even vehemently, and not, send the kind of messages that, as someone in the comments apparently said, make Esther think about withdrawing.
Oh, that would be horrible.
That would be awful. That would be so upsetting. And I say that completely detached from the fact that I love the song.
And I say that completely detached from the fact I don't like the song.
Yeah.
And I will say it completely irrelevant, but now San Marino's chances of qualifying just went up. Another notch.
Yay! I'm so excited!
Yes!
I have been saying,
I'm giving 12 to this song.
At every national final that doesn't go my way, I'm just thinking to myself, Serhat and Tamara, Serhat and Tamara, Serhat and Tamara. We're going to save the day.
guys, this is the real controversy, is that Women with Weapon were actually bribed, and it was by San Marino to send a song that would give them a higher chance of winning. They in fact spent over 5% of their GDP, which is about 14 cents, and they spent all of that on bribing them to try and get Serhat's qualifying chances increased.
That starts rumors. Easy United starting this rumor. So
Getting our reputability score on Wikipedia downgraded.
No, just because somebody takes out this out of context and put that little clip now online, we're kidding. We're kidding.
Yes.
We're not serious.
We
All
love
right.
you, San Marino.
Yes, exactly. So once again, thank you everyone for once again, Romania, wish you the best of luck, and thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Calvin. And boy, we still got like how many songs now? 12. So we got what? 13? I don't remember. Something like that. So we still have ways to go. So everyone, have a good day or have a good night. Have a good whatever.